Get out of here. People like you don't belong." The manager's words cut through the dealership like a knife. But the man he kicked out wasn't just any customer. He was the new owner of the entire dealership. And in the next few minutes, everything the manager thought he knew about power, privilege, and respect would be turned upside down. You won't believe the twist that left everyone in shock. "Hey, step away from that vehicle." The shout exploded across the showroom like a siren, slicing through the murmur of soft jazz and polite sales chatter. Heads snapped toward the commotion, conversations faltering mid-sentence. A tall black man in a simple gray hoodie, no flashy watch, no designer shoes, stood beside a brand-new luxury SUV, patiently admiring the soft leather interior as if he had all the time in the world. Storming toward him, red-faced and heaving like a kettle ready to blow, was Carl Mathers, the notoriously abrasive dealership manager. Most employees avoided Carl. Most customers complained about him. Today, everyone silently braced for the inevitable storm. "What do you think you're doing?" Carl barked, jabbing a finger at the man, as though pointing out a trespasser. "People like you don't come in here to buy. You come in to waste my time. So get out before I call security." A hush rippled across the gleaming showroom floor. A couple at the reception desk exchanged shocked glances. One salesman swallowed hard and stepped back. Others looked down, pretending not to witness what was happening. But the man in the hoodie didn't flare up. He didn't defend himself. He didn't even frown. Instead, he offered a small, almost sorrowful smile. "I just wanted to take a look," he said gently. "I won't touch anything else." His calmness only seemed to irritate Carl further. "Yeah, well, you've looked enough. Out." Carl turned toward the nearest employee. "Get security. Now." Nobody moved. Not yet, because within the next 20 minutes, the entire dealership would learn exactly who they had just kicked out, and the revelation would hit them like a 5-ton shock, reshaping their future, their reputation, and their bottom line forever. His name was Derrick Lawson, entrepreneur, investor, self-made millionaire, and as of that very morning, he was the new silent owner of Lawson Auto Group, the parent company that had just purchased half the dealerships in the region, including the one whose showroom floor he was now being escorted off of. Derrick wasn't flashy, and he wasn't loud. He believed money revealed character, but anonymity revealed truth. Whenever he acquired a new business, he preferred to walk in as a regular customer, dressed simply, with no entourage, no appointment, no watch worth more than a car payment. He wanted to see how people behaved when they thought no one important was watching. Today, Carl Mathers was giving him a crystal-clear demonstration. Still, Derrick remained calm. "All right," he said softly, nodding once. "No problem." He began walking toward the glass doors, hands in his pockets, posture relaxed, as if he had already made peace with the situation. But the ripple effect of Carl's outburst hadn't quite settled. Across the showroom, an employee suddenly froze mid-step. A young salesman, Evan, new to the job, ambitious, and far more observant than Carl ever gave him credit for, squinted at Derrick, eyes widening. He recognized him. He recognized the face from the internal memo sent that morning. He recognized the name from the company-wide ownership announcement. He recognized the man Carl had just humiliated as the person who now held the power to hire, fire, promote, or shut the entire dealership down. "Mr. Lawson?" Evan whispered, almost choking on the words. Derrick paused. Evan rushed toward him, ignoring Carl's glare. "Sir, please, wait just a moment." The entire showroom seemed to inhale at once, and Carl, finally sensing something was terribly wrong, felt the color drain from his face as the truth began to dawn on him. Far too late. "Mr. Lawson? Sir, is that really you?" The voice came from behind Carl, steady, respectful, and unmistakably stunned. It was Maria, a salesperson who had been with the dealership for 8 years, the one everyone relied on, the one who actually cared about customers, and more importantly, the one who had attended the early morning corporate meeting where Derrick was introduced as the new owner. Carl turned toward her slowly, like a machine low on power. "Wait, Mr. Lawson?" "As in?" Maria nodded, eyes wide. "Yes, Carl. This is the Derrick Lawson, our new boss." The entire showroom sank into a heavy silence. A couple in the corner stopped pretending to browse. A child tugged at his father's sleeve, asking in a whisper what was happening. Even the background music suddenly felt too loud. Carl's face drained of color. His mouth opened and closed like a fish yanked out of water. "Sir," he stammered. I didn't know your outfit. I just thought." Derrick lifted a hand, not harshly, but with a quiet authority that silenced the room. "No need to explain, Carl. Your actions already explained everything." A few customers murmured agreement. One of the junior salesmen lowered his eyes, embarrassed on Carl's behalf. Maria stepped forward, voice gentle but sincere. "Sir, I'm so sorry. If I had recognized you earlier." Derrick offered her a warm, reassuring smile. "You have nothing to apologize for, Maria. You did the right thing. In fact, thank you for speaking up." Carl attempted to salvage himself, desperation creeping into his tone. "Mr. Lawson, please, let's talk in my office. This is all a misunderstanding." Derrick's expression shifted. Not angry, not harsh, but profoundly disappointed. "That's the problem, Carl. You think this is a misunderstanding, but it isn't." He swept his gaze across the staff, calm but unyielding. "It's about how you treat people when you think they're not important." And in that moment, the entire showroom seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the judgment they knew was coming. Derrick let the silence settle after Carl was escorted out. The glass doors whispered shut behind the former manager, but the tension lingered like an echo. He turned back to the employees, some nervous, some hopeful, all stunned. Even the customers stayed rooted to their spots. No one wanted to miss what would happen next. "Everyone," Derrick said, his voice steady, "I want to make something clear." He stepped forward, hands clasped behind his back with the quiet confidence of someone who didn't need to raise his voice to command a room. "This dealership has potential, tremendous potential, but potential means nothing if the people running it create an environment that drives customers away before they ever have a chance to buy." A few employees nodded, eyes down in shame. Derrick continued, "I didn't come here today to catch anyone doing something wrong. I came to observe, to understand the culture, to see how everyday people are treated when they walk through those doors." He looked around at each employee individually, making sure they felt seen in a way Carl had never bothered to attempt. "And what I saw," Derrick said, "tells me this place needs a fresh start." Maria stepped forward a little. She wasn't crying anymore, but she looked deeply moved. "Sir, what happens next?" Derrick smiled softly. "What happens next," he said, "is rebuilding. Together." Employees exchanged glances, some unsure, some relieved. "I'm not here to fire everyone," Derrick assured them. "I'm here to lead, to set standards, to create an environment where customers feel welcomed, not judged, where employees feel supported, not terrified." He paused, letting the message sink in. "But make no mistake," he added, "respect isn't optional. It's the foundation of this business now." A few customers applauded quietly. One even stepped forward, saying, "If this is how you run things now, I'd like to look at that SUV again." Derrick smiled, and just like that, the dealership took its first breath of a brand new future. After Carl was gone, Derrick took a slow breath and faced the room again. The air felt different now, lighter, clearer, as though a storm cloud had finally passed. "This dealership," Derrick began, his voice calm but energized, "will be rebuilt with respect, fairness, and integrity. From this moment forward, everyone, no matter how they dress, look, or speak, will be treated like a valued customer." This time, the applause came instantly. Not polite, not hesitant, but genuine, relieved, hopeful, renewed. Even customers clapped, smiling at one another like they were witnessing history unfold right in front of them. Maria stepped forward, hands nervously clasped. "Sir, what about the SUV you were looking at? Would you still like to see it?" Derrick chuckled, the tension finally melting from his posture. "I already know everything about it," he said with a grin. "I designed the upgrade package." Laughter erupted around the showroom. Even employees who had been trembling minutes earlier now cracked smiles. Then Derrick turned to Maria and extended his hand. "You're going to be the new floor manager, You've earned it. You treat people right. Maria's jaw dropped. Sir, are you serious? Completely, Derrick replied. Leadership starts with heart, and you've got that. The team gathered around her, congratulating her, some clapping her on the back, others hugging her. A few even wiped away tears, happy ones. Meanwhile, Derrick walked back to the SUV, the same one Carl had chased him away from. He ran his hand across the hood, appreciating its craftsmanship, its potential, its symbolism. He glanced at the window sticker and smiled. All right, he said softly. Let's take this one out for a test drive. Maria grabbed a set of keys, with a kind of radiant pride. The dealership felt different now, alive, buzzing with hope and possibility. Because Derrick hadn't just bought a business. He had rewritten its culture. He had reset its standards. He had restored its humanity. And everyone in that room could feel the beginning of something better. And that's how one man turned a moment of disrespect into a lesson the whole dealership, and all of us, will never forget. If you love the story, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable, real-life stories that will shock and inspire you every week. Remember, respect costs nothing, but it changes everything.